If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Facts. That's the wrong one. We're going to push the right button this time. This is what happens when I move stuff.
From high atop the battlements of Castle Curmudgeon, where I have just been informed that a Manhattan jury has found me guilty of looking like a guy who might potentially do something illegal. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all ships at sea. Welcome to the Blast Radius. So glad you could join us this evening. Here's your decline of Western civilization news roundup for the final week of May 2024. Dateline Alexandria, Virginia, Monday, 27 May. The Libertarian Party, in its continuing quest to prove that it totally hasn't become just another band of wacky wokesters whose views are totally indistinguishable from Democrats at this point, announced this week that their 2024 presidential nominee is Chase Oliver, a gay married former Obama campaign volunteer who thinks government vax mandates and drag queen story hour are both totally awesome. And it's a bold move. The very next day after Donald Trump comes to your convention and mocks you right to your smug little face for being an irrelevant party that's been getting 3% at best in every election for the last 50 years and doesn't seem all that interested in growing that number at all, to come out and nominate a guy who has all the same policy positions as Joe Biden. It's almost like if you were consciously trying to validate Trump's argument and totally beclown yourself by playing up to the stereotype in the most absurdly comical way conceivable, you do the exact self-same thing that the Libertarian Party has done right here. You know, it used to be said of the Libertarians that they were just nihilistic, irreligious Republicans. So they did the reasonable thing and flipped the script and became nihilistic, irreligious Democrats instead. Which is sort of a pointless look, really, when the Democrats are nihilistic and irreligious anyway. Now, for those fans keeping score at home, and I know there's many thousands of you, people wait around on the edge of their seats all year waiting to hear the news out of the Libertarian Convention. There were two potential nominees on the ballot. There was Chase Oliver, and there was none of the above. And we got to pump the brakes here for a moment, guys. Now, in a primary election or a caucus or what have you, I totally see the point of having a none of the above option. You've got a slate of different candidates, 4 or 5, half a dozen even, and none of the above provides the voter with the option of saying, no, I don't like any of these idiots. But this is the first time ever in my life I have heard of having a none of the above option at a national nominating convention. Because what happens, let's just spitball it around, if none of the above wins? You've just nominated a phrase to be your presidential candidate instead of a person, which, who knows, maybe that might be the best way of improving on that 3% figure, by being the first party to ever provide a none of the above option on a presidential election, general election ballot, which I guess, taken to its logical endpoint, wouldn't that then be the ultimate expression of libertarianism? The best president is a non-existent one? I mean, it would certainly beat the one we currently have. Dateline Washington, Tuesday, 28 May. 100 years ago this week, the U.S. Congress bowed to overwhelming public pressure by instituting a near-total ban on foreign immigration. I know that probably sounds quite bizarre to current-day Americans, but it's a real thing that happened. And this wasn't even the last time it happened. The American people, many millions of them, they wrote to their elected representatives and they said, look, we've had several decades of massive immigration, which is all well and good. We had a continent that we were trying to populate. After all, we needed the workers. But now that the western frontier is closed and we no longer have that same pressing need for thousands of extra workers to build all the new infrastructure, the prudent thing to do at this point is to put a pause on new immigration so that we can assimilate the people who have come over already, so that we can get them fully integrated and acculturated to being Americans. And when that work is complete, and if the economic conditions warrant it, then we can open things back up to new immigrants in another 15 or 20 years or so. And here's the freaking crazy part. All the congressmen and senators, they read all those letters that came in, and then they did the thing that their constituents wanted them to do. Nowadays, they call that populism, and they tell us it's a very, very bad and dangerous thing. A threat to democracy, in fact. Which is ironic, since 100 years ago, we just called it democracy. We held up such things as evidence that our system is the best system. Legislators used to have to be responsive to their constituents, or they would get thrown out of office. It's a simple, elegant, very effective form of political calculus that somewhere along the way between then and now has simply been got rid of and dispensed with. Nowadays, if you even gently broach the subject of perhaps potentially dialing down the level of mass migration, you immediately get shouted down as a racist and a xenophobe, even probably by your own congressman whose job is supposed to be advocating for your interests with the central government. You are simply required to accept without comment that mass migration in the millions per year is not only a permanent feature of American life, but a good and proper thing that you are required to like and to celebrate if you know what's good for you. And as we begin Pride Month, it's a good time for that reminder that in America, in the third decade of the 21st century, your woke left-wing overlords require you to accept and affirm all the same things that they accept and affirm. First, they make you tolerate, then they make you celebrate, then they make you participate. And it doesn't take all that many years to get from, well, okay, I guess I don't have a problem with gay people getting married, to I have to take my kids down to the drag queen story hour because if I don't, someone might call me transphobic on social media. It's like a 12-year straight line from tolerating to participating. And it's a primrose path that a distressing number of Americans have been all too happy to walk down. Dateline San Francisco, Wednesday, 29 May. In my favorite story this week about dumb wokesters making fools of themselves with their own crippling ignorance, city officials in San Francisco had to scramble this week to pull down a Revolutionary War era flag from a downtown plaza where it has flown without any comment or complaint from anybody ever since Flag Day 1964 in an area named the Plaza of American Flags, the whole purpose of which is the display of, as you might have guessed, flags from American history. The flag in question is the Appeal to Heaven banner, the one with the pine tree. You've seen it before. It was first flown by George Washington himself as his personal naval standard, and there is some dispute over whether it was the first official naval jack of the Continental Navy as a whole. But in any event, it was one of the first. And for fully 2.5 centuries, nobody saw any reason to be offended by the Appeal to Heaven banner. Nobody even really noticed it all that much who wasn't a fan of historical vexillology. But that all changed this week. This week, according to the intrepid journalists in the industry we used to call the press, the Appeal to Heaven banner suddenly became divisive and controversial and associated with right-wing extremism. You know how the drill goes. It's all the same words and phrases the fake news industrial complex trots out when they want to take some innocent, inoffensive thing and turn it into a horrific, offensive, racist hate crime now. So how was it that this obscure banner from the mid-1770s suddenly became a symbol of all that is evil and unholy in the entire universe? Well, somebody carried one at a Trump rally. And worse yet, most horrifyingly of all, a picture surfaced from last year of an Appeal to Heaven banner being flown at Justice Samuel Alito's vacation home. I know, it's a lot to take in. We will get through this together. We've got trauma counselors standing by if you should need them. So the woke fake news arithmetic is pretty simple here. The flag was carried by a Trump supporter, and it was flown from Sam Alito's house. Therefore, it must be some sort of right-wing hate symbol. And everything worked out just great until San Francisco, the most liberal, progressive city ever created by Gaia the Earth Mother, realized that they've been flying that same right-wing hate symbol every day for the last 60 years. And they said, shit, we can't leave it up because that wrecks the whole smear job that we're trying to pull by declaring it a right-wing hate symbol. And if we take it down, people will notice we're taking it down, and they'll realize we're taking it down because we're a bunch of ignorant, foolish buffoons. But if we don't want to tacitly admit we're a bunch of foolish, ignorant buffoons, so here's what we'll do. Get me a couple of guys from the Parks Department, tell them to change into some plain clothes, drive down there in their personal car on the down low, and then run up there real fast and yank that flag down before anybody has a chance to start taking video. And if anybody does get the thing on video, we can just blame it on random flag thieves, because it's San Francisco. People steal all kinds of shit. At least that's the way they wanted it to work out. Did it work out that way? No, it did not. Not by a long shot. That deliciously embarrassing video was all over the Twitter sphere-verse within a matter of hours, as well it should have been. So well done, San Francisco. You are still the bright, shining city on the hill of the American intellect, and don't you ever change. Dateline Philadelphia, Thursday, 30 May. President and semi-animated cadaver Joe Biden flatly refused to answer this week when queried by a reporter on whether he plans to serve out his full 4-year second term in the event that somehow, improbably, he is returned to office, despite being the all-time worst president in American history, including the accidental ones. Biden was standing on the tarmac next to Air Force One with a collection of local officials, looking, as he often does, like a confused geriatric who's waiting for someone to come along and tell him what to do next. When a reporter yelled out, quote, President Biden, will you be serving your full 4-year term or handing over power to Vice President Harris? To which Biden replied, quote, you're not hurt, are you? At which point the reporter asked him to clarify his answer, to which Biden replied, quote, did you fall on your head or something? At which point, if I was that reporter, I might have said no, but I've seen you fall on your head at least half a dozen times. And we've got another case here of Joe Biden being just astoundingly terrible at politics. When somebody asks you that question, are you going to serve your term if the people elect you to it? There is only one conceivable answer you can give. It's a 3-letter word that begins with Y and ends with S. What kind of dumbass, doddering buffoon hears that question and gives or even contemplates giving any answer except yes? That's actually a really important question. It's not a question you try to give a cute, jokey answer to. You know why? Because if you fail to give a straight answer to that question, if you prevaricate and beat around the bush and leave it ambiguous and thus imply that you might just ride off into the sunset sometime in mid-2026 and hand the reins over to the California cackler, you're actually hurting yourself in the election that's coming up in November that you are ostensibly trying to win. And why is that? Well, because Kamala Harris is even less popular than you are, Joe. In fact, she's got the most dismal approval rating that has ever existed since it first occurred to anybody to even measure vice presidential approval ratings. So, implying that you might bow out in her favor is just about the absolute stupidest political thing you could do right about now. And all you had to do was say, yes. It's like the ball is resting right on the lip of the cup, and all you have to do is tap it in. But somehow, you wind up 40 yards away in the fucking sand trap. Nobody else but Joe Biden could find a way to turn such a simple question and answer into stepping on a rake while simultaneously punching himself right in the dick. Well done, Mr. President. Well done indeed. Dateline Charleston, Friday, 31 May. In a move that lots of people have been anticipating for a fairly long time, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin finally, after much extended dithering and prevarication, announced this week that he is indeed leaving the Democrat Party and becoming an independent. Manchin thus becomes the fourth so-called independent in the Senate, along with Kirsten Sinema of Arizona, Angus King of Maine, and our very own Bernie Sanders of Vermont, all of whom were elected as Democrats, and it goes without saying, continue to caucus with the Democrats and to vote exactly the same as they did when they were Democrats. So now the speculation will turn to what Manchin has planned for his next move, whether he's going to run for a third Senate term as an independent or launch some sort of insurgent centrist run for the White House, which it has long been surmised that he plans on doing. And if he does wind up doing that, well, it makes a bad situation that much worse for Joe Biden, because we've already got a bumper crop of third-party/independent candidates in the field, all of whom are woke leftists who will only take away votes from Biden and not from Trump. RFK Jr., he takes 4 to 5 points away from Biden each time his name is in the poll. Jill Stein, 1 or 2%. Cornel West, 1 or 2%. Throw Manchin into the mix, and you're looking at least another 1 or 2%. So the math is bad and just getting worse for Team Biden. Trump is leading outside the margin of error in pretty much all of the swing states right now, and those leads have been fairly steady and stable for a good length of time now. If the Biden campaign was hoping against hope that a Donald Trump criminal conviction was going to soften his support, well, they have gotten pretty much the opposite of the desired result, because Trump just had his single biggest 24-hour period for fundraising since he first came down the golden escalator in July of 2015. And if we see convictions in the rest of these show trials, which we're almost certain to see, the result of each one is going to be an increase in the number of people who will crawl naked across broken glass in order to vote to return Donald Trump to the White House, and who will pump every single spare dollar they have into his campaign coffers. There was already a pretty glaring enthusiasm gap in this election, since, let's face it, the next person who is excited to vote for Joe Biden will be the first one. But Biden seems bound and determined to do absolutely everything in his power to increase the size and the breadth of that discrepancy, which I think we can all agree, or at least all of us who would prefer it if a Big Mac and a gallon of gas didn't cost $15 goddamn dollars, but that's totally fine with us. And that's the end of the roundup. That's the week that was. May it rest in peace. And with that, I pass the puck to the man who puts the biscuit in the basket and lights the lamp, my distinguished colleague, your illustrious co-host, the man who put the rect in Homo erectus, the one and only, your friend and mine, Mr. Caucasian Sasquatch.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Never tell if I've actually done that part right. Welcome to the Blast Radius, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, even after that magnificent performance by Captain Curmudgeon, we've got another one coming right up by Midlife Bro Logic. Now, I'm going to be looking into the Mexican election. Seems something interesting is going on south of the border. Midlife Bro Logic's brought in another, ironically, Latin story, which is out of El Salvador. We went over it a few weeks ago. We're going to go back and see what they've been doing recently. It's interesting. Now, Captain Curmudgeon has a guy that he's going to talk about whose name I have yet to be able to remember for more than 37 seconds because I have the literal memory of a goldfish. So, without any further ado, I give you Midlife Bro Logic.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Oh my God, my lighting sucks. If only I had a team to come in here and turn on the lights. I'm in my mobile studio. I know. Yeah, hit the light for me, please. Whoa, hit that light maybe. Try that light. Now I look like a strawberry. Try that one over there.
You're good enough, brother. It works.
I'm in my mobile studio, but I'm up in my game. That's right. I'm using that's better. That'll work. Wow, it's kind of weird talking through two of these, but let's just do it anyways. Let's endeavor to persevere. What, did I get banned?
No,
What happened?
no. I'm doing all the wrong things, and I apologize. Why isn't it?
All right, I'm back, baby. I'm on my mobile studio. I'm doing the best I can. Get rid of that. I'm the star. I want to see myself. I know I may not be a Captain Curmudgeon. I know I don't put the rect in Homo erectus. Okay, I put the dysfunction in erectile. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's going on. I put the dysfunction in erectile. Sasquatch puts the erectus. I think he puts the Homo in Homo erectus personally. But hey, that's for another day and another story. What can we say? What a great roundup as usual. That's the high standard that we're used to here. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it again. You know what I'm going to talk about. The gift that keeps on giving. I'm not talking about herpes, people. I'm talking about Donald Trump, okay? I'm talking about Donald Trump. Oh, Barney, but you talked about Trump last week. I don't care. I don't care. That's the top of the news cycle. That's what's going on. You want to hear about Trump, you come to the right place. What can be said about Trump? For all you Star Trek, oops, I didn't mean to say that. For all of you Star Wars nerds, if you recognize this one, strike me down now, Vader, and I will only become stronger than you can imagine. I'm talking about the worst teacher ever in the history of all galaxies, Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi. Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi tried to strike down fucking Vader. Wait a minute, I'm mixing this up. Jesus, I'm just a mess today. I'm a mess today. I shouldn't have had that Chinese buffet. Vader struck down Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the worst teacher in the history of the galaxy. That's what's up. But like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Trump just gets stronger. You can't strike him down. He only gets stronger. He gives them more money. How can you find a more relatable person that hates the government? The government's out to get him. The government steals your money. The government steals our money. Come on. They're stealing Trump's money. They're committing lawfare. They're out to get him. Come on, man. I don't even like the guy, but you're pushing me into the hands of my quote-unquote abuser. We're talking about Trump, baby. Abuse me, Trump. I like it, okay? Give me more daddy. I'm gay for Trump. Let's do it. It's June 2nd, 1st. It's gay month. I'm going to say it right here now. I am gay for Trump. Give it to me, Daddy Trump. We need you as president. Help us, Trump Kenobi. You're the only one that can save us. Come on, come on. It's okay when they do it. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Bill Clinton and Paula Jones. Bill Clinton paid Paula Jones $850 large. $850 large. And when he wrote it in his book, he wrote it down as a wrong expense too, but he got away with it. Yes, Georgia Swan, it's Trump Pride Month. That's what I'm talking about. Where is your Trump pride? Get your MAGA hat out. Get your rainbow flag on. Let's make a gay flag with Trump in it. Come on. He was the first president. He was the first. Well, he wasn't president at the time. Let's not forget. Let's not forget for all my gays out there. And I know I got gay fans, and I love the gay fans. Come on. Let's do it. Come on in here. Let's do it. Let's have a party. You can be here. You can be queer. Let's do it. Trump was the first man who said that gays should get married. That's a fact. Look it up. You can't call me wrong. When Obama became president, he was like, nope, gays can't get married. Well, here it is. June month, gay month, queer month, whatever you want to call it. Everything Trump does, he's right. He's right ahead of time. He can see into the future. We used to laugh at him. We used to, right? First we ignored him. Then we laughed at him. Then we attacked him. Then he wins again. Then he wins again. Come on, Trump. You're the only one who can save us. Give it to us, Trump. What else do I have in here? Look at these notes. They're kind of minimal. It's not going to work. What can I talk about? You know it's the highlight of the week. You know Trump comes out. He is a goddamn inspiration. How can you not be behind this man? You want to be with Biden? Are you riding with Biden? Are you serious? What kind of a fucking joke is this? What kind of a joke is this? You have a design for the gay flag? I'm buying it. I'll buy that for $1. Let's do it, okay? Because he's the first gay president. Trump is the first gay president, let's face it. Bill Clinton was not the first black president. Trump is the first gay president. That's what's up. I guess my time is up. I'm rambling on. Looks like the boss says to shut up. Anyways, I hope you like that shit. Let's get on to this very special South of the Border edition of Blast Radius. Let's go, people. Who's with me?
I'm just gonna throw this out there, and everybody in the live chat, give me all the feedback you can give me. Here's my first idea for the gay Trump flag: red and orange stripes with a big, magnificent gold fringe around the edge.
I'm digging it, man. I really like it, like an Admiralty flag, but the red and the orange.
Yes, yes, yes. That man's got the spirit right there.
We could do it like in the shape of the rainbow pride flag, but with all of like the individual things, but not the actual colors. It would be a good snubbing of the nose, I think.
Well, and then more recently, you've got the new version of the pride flag where you've got this big triangular monstrosity kind of penetrating it from the side with all the blacks and pinks and browns and whatever. It's like it's the thing that happens when you say, we've already got the ugliest flag in history. How could we make it 78% uglier? And that's what they came up with. And what a wonderfully great job they did too. Totally not a crime against vexillology. I just wanted to say vexillology again. I know I already said it in the roundup. Vexillology. I said it a third time.
All right, hey, bro. We get you in a studio. That's gonna play off absolutely fantastic. By the way, that thing, I don't even know what to call it, bro. Like that, I don't have that much passion for much of anything I do. All I can do is respect you for it. All right, so we got.
Say it for me one time. Say vexillology.
Vexillology. I don't even know what that is.
Oh!
Did I miss it? What is that?
It's the study of flags.
Flags.
Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah, flags, just like standards, and also like the whole chivalry crest and stuff like that. All of that stuff has a language. It's all its own. You can wax philosophical about it for hours with people that.
Oh yeah, if we want to do a heraldry episode, I'm in the car for that one, dude.
I got a herald. Believe it or not. Yeah. Hey, Baltimore Barney, you got a herald? Do you have a crest? Does your family?
Oh, speaking of that, I'm glad you brought up Baltimore, because MBL, you are Baltimorean, obviously. What is the word? Baltimorean?
Baltimorean.
Baltimoreite?
Yeah. Baltimorean, but whatever you want to call us is fine.
Well, and I say that as a denizen of a city where nobody knows what to call us. They always say San Diegoan, but it's just San Diegan anyway. As you may know, as you may be aware, as you may not be aware, 2 weeks from today is the 10th anniversary of the death of Tony Gwynn, and he's getting his very own Blast Radius. And as a Baltimore guy, I assume you're also a Cal Ripken guy?
Well, I wasn't born in Baltimore. Of course, I know who Cal Ripken is. I do like Order games, Monday through Thursday. They're $10. It's 2 minutes from my house, so... But I'm
all right. The reason I bring it up is because the two of them went into the Hall of Fame together in 2007, and ever since then they've kind of become commonly associated with each other. Not only because they were the only guys who went into the Hall that year, and it was the biggest attendance day that the Hall of Fame has ever had, and Lady Curmudgeon and I were there obviously for the first one of two times that we've gone. And but they were seen as similar players in the sense that each guy had a 20-year career all in one city, which wasn't necessarily the biggest sports market, and so they're the sorts of athletes who have relationships with cities that you don't often see anymore. And
yes.
I thought you might come in useful on that day for that reason.
Your thing, bro.
E-Black, my dude, you're coming in big. You're coming in hard with the 10. I really appreciate that. I am in my mobile studio, and I am doing a multi-stream from Sasquatch and my boy Captain Curmudgeon. So make sure you subscribe to them for more informative reviews and trending topics. But bro, if you ever come to my show, I'll give you my $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I'll sing it. Money, 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 money. Somebody's gotta pay. Everybody's got a price. Money, 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 money. I hope you like WWF. That's what they used to call it. All right, thank you so much.
And not just the $1 Million Man, but Virgil till I fucking die, dude.
Yeah, well, rest in peace, Virgil, because he's gone. But
rest in peace, Virgil.
Absolutely. Shout out to E Black, my dude. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Happy gay month, E Black.
So, we're going to have us a little discussion about El Salvador here. I hear El Salvador has been doing some interesting things.
Bukele, 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 Bukele. Sorry.
Right?
Is it my
I
turn?
love me some Bukele.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about? I missed this whole thing. We're talking about Cal Ripken and who? I'm confused. What
That
happened?
was the banter portion of the show. You'll catch on directly. We're at the 30-minute mark where we move into our first story or second story, depending upon which way my dick's hanging that particular day.
Got it.
It'll either be
And
you
that's
or
a
him.
big dick, believe me.
I'll take your word for it. Thank you.
All right. Oh my God, Cap. You're going to get me this week. This is happening. You're mad about last week, aren't you? She's like a cool girl. All right. So what's been going on in El Salvador, brother?
All right, so let me get my millions of fans up to speed. This story's been on my radar for actually like 2 years, right? And what do you think of when you think of El Salvador? Well, let's face it, it's an asshole country. And if you live in Maryland, it's not Mexicans running around here, it's El Salvadoreños, as evidenced by all these pupusas. Hey, pupusas are great. I love it, right? But they're not Mexicans, they're El Salvadoreños, and, they talk a little different, but they do speak Spanish. And you're wondering, what the hell is going on in El Salvador? A long time ago, some kind of war, America, you know what America used to do back in the 80s. They used to just muck it up, cause problems, and support people that kill people as long as they kill the people we wanted them to kill, just like we still do now. Anyways, El Salvador, asshole country, we know about it. It's tiny. It's tiny. It's like Rhode Island size. It is so small. Lol, that's what she said. But the truth is, it was like the murder capital of the globe or something like that. They were killing people left and right. And they had
Shakespeare.
That's Cap's got a donation, I think. Isn't that your thing?
Who is that?
That's
If that is for me, I am honored and humbled beyond words.
There you go.
You're not going to sing a song like me?
Well, you can at
You
least
flatter
mention
me,
her name.
Ajot.
There you go.
Ajot is the lady who makes it rain, and we love Ajot. We love us some Ajot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So
told you he was going to get me.
let me just fast forward this. Here comes in this young guy. He looks like a huckster. He looks like a trickster. His blood isn't even Latin. His blood is like Middle Eastern or something. His name is Nayib Bukele. What kind of a name is that? Your name is supposed to be Jose or Juan Rodriguez.
Jordanian, I believe.
Yeah, he's Jordan, so his blood isn't even Latin. But this dude has got Latin passion. He's got Latin spice. And he comes in and he whips since we're going to talk about dicks, his big dick out. And he says, this is bullshit. I'm sick of people getting gunned down in the streets. I'm sick of these crimes. I'm sick of El Salvador being known for what? MS-13 and all these stupid gangs and these horrible face tattoos. And I hate face tattoos. And he's like, this is going to stop. This is going to stop. So he goes out and he rounds up like 6,000, I think, what was the impetus to this? I think 67 murders happened one weekend. And remember, this country is like smaller than Rhode Island, okay? And he's like, enough is enough. He gets the police out, a.k.a. cops, National Guard, whatever they want to call it. He gets 6,000 people. And he basically says, if you have a tattoo, you're under arrest. I love it. They should be arrested for tattoos, especially on their face. It's horrible. He rounds them all up. He gets he gets all his money together. He builds the biggest prison in the Americas that holds 40,000 criminals. And he just like it's amazing what he did. It is amazing what he did. And the way they treat these prisoners, they're like so subservient, they're so beat down, and they're so broken that they walk with their head down in underwear. Could you imagine in America, you know, when you see locked up, you got prisoners throwing feces at guards, you got people yelling and screaming, you got, let's just call it unconsensual penetrations, people beating up guards. These prisoners walk with their head down. And then when they line them up so they have to, it's like just complete and total subjugation of criminals, and I love it. I love it. And I know. Some innocent people probably got rounded up. Some innocent people are probably in there. That sucks. But guess what? Victims' rights. Look at what the crime did. Yeah, look at that picture. The crime went down like an insane amount. And I talked to all these El Salvadoreños. They freaking love this guy. El Salvador is going to be so good because they handled the problem that none of these American cowards want to handle. They locked everybody up. And look at this. Look at this. Could you imagine American prisoners doing this? It's like, get down or you're going to get beat. Bring that
You know
back.
what we call that? There's a term for what that is, and it's called deterrent.
That's a deterrent indeed, because being locked up in there looks like freaking hell. Because they don't.
People do that, and you take a hell of a lot of video of it, and you put it all over the television, and it sends a message to any wannabe young criminal gangster thugs that you don't want to be that dude.
Absolutely. Look at this prison. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I don't know what kind of architect did this, but it's great. And he says, and then of course, all the libtards, all the SJWs in their mansions, in their ivory tower, in their gated community. Oh, we're taking away people's rights, blah, blah, blah. He says, if you love these people so much, you come and protect my people, or I will do it. And then he says, look at that. They got to sleep with no mattresses. I love it. And then he says, if there's any reprisal killings to good people on the outside for this locking up, I'm going to starve your prisoners. I swear to God, they will not have one meal if there is a reprisal killing. He said it. I believe it. We need this guy to come to America. If this guy could somehow run for a president, oh my God, what happened? Am I still here?
You're still
Yeah.
here.
I wish this guy, well, let's change the laws and let's have this guy for president. I am serious. Let's get him. Okay, so we got it down. Oh, here comes libtard. Oh, these people, blah, 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 blah. All the El Salvadoreños love El Salvador. The only problem they have in El Salvador now is the value of the land is too expensive to buy for these people because the value of the country is going up. El Salvador is going to be so good, you're going to see white people risking their lives crossing the border to go get a job in El Salvador. This is awesome. Okay, so we got the story down, but let's talk about what did Biden think of this. He's like, oh, he's a dictator. Oh, he doesn't have due process. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Okay. Whew, let me take a breath. Now I'm just going to read this off my phone. Here we go. Let me try to be serious. Let me get my breath here. U.S. and when is this? This is yesterday. U.S. dampens criticism of El Salvador president. Migration overtakes democracy concerns. Oh, there it is. Perfect. The Biden administration has sent a high-level delegation to El Salvador to attend President Nayib Bukele's inauguration to a second term. San Salvador. Also, El Salvador ironically means the savior for those of you who don't habla Espanol. Okay? So is El Salvador going to save the world? Looks like it. Looks like it. I never thought they'd be the hero, but they are the hero. They're my hero. Nayib Bukele, you're my hero too. And it's gay history. I'm gay for Nayib Bukele too. And Trump, since it's gay month. Okay? Let's get on with it. In 2021, the Biden administration turned down a meeting request with Nayib Bukele on a trip to Washington. The dude came to Washington. He's a freaking president of a foreign state, and Biden's like, "Nah, we don't like you." Okay, so do we got that? A little more than 3 years later, it's the United States that's courting Bukele. Oh, look at this! A high-level delegation led by U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and senior White House and State Department officials attended Bukele's inauguration in San Salvador on Saturday to a second term. The visit, unthinkable until recently, caps a quiet 180-degree shift in Washington's policy towards the small Central American nation of 6 million reflect how many people in New York, like more than that, like that's how tiny this is. That reflects how the Biden administration criticisms of Bukele's strong-arm governing style have been overtaken by more urgent concern tied to immigration, a key issue in this year's U.S. presidential election. Yeah, so let's talk about, there's lots of words. I can't really read that well. But the truth is, Captain Curmudgeon was talking about these borders are out of control. This Nayib Bukele is a genius. His country is making Salvador great again. Now people aren't going to leave. It's like we, for some reason, can't build a freaking wall in America, right? We can build walls in that small country in the Middle East. We can build walls in Korea for 8 years. We can't build our own country, okay? For some freaking lousy reason. Nayib Bukele, he's saving America. God save Nayib Bukele. I wish he would come here. Please become an American, and please be the mayor of Baltimore, and please fix it. I love this guy. Biden is just a total and abject failure. But, well, I guess, that's why I hate having a show. I have to kind of make a turnaround. I guess, not that he's going to admit it, but the fact that he sent a delegation there kind of shows that maybe he is slowly learning. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Two things. One, Mr. Bukele impresses me primarily because I think he has a genuine and detailed understanding of the most important rule of politics and governance, which is people just want a nice, safe place to live where they can mind their own business and raise their families and that whole thing. Number two, I can't believe El Salvador still has this many violent criminal face tattooed scumbags to put in their own prisons who aren't already in this country today.
It's shocking. We should just make a law that just face tattoos, whether you put a face tattoo on someone or whether you brandish, let's call it that. If you brandish a face tattoo, let's make that a felony, punishable by prison time. I mean, honestly, let's just stop prison tattoos. I know it's un-American. I know it's under the First Amendment, but Jesus Christ, things are out of hand. Okay,
and you know what's even more bizarre is people who get face tattoos who are not Salvadoran gangster criminals, like who are just American female suburban 20-year-old chicks getting face tattoos and then complaining that everybody looks at their face tattoo and doesn't want to hire them for a job. Like the horror. Who knew that was going to happen?
It's a horrible state of affairs that the world has come to, where people out there are trying to normalize face tattoos, right? What did it start with? It started with the lax tattoo standard in regards to the Army. Then it went to the police. How many of these cops, these tough guy cops with these full arm sleeve tattoos, like, bro, you look like a criminal. You should arrest yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I am still not accustomed to that in the military. Seeing military personnel in uniform with arms full of tattoos. That's gonna take a while for me with that one, I think, because that's a really big departure in a very, very short time.
The error that was made by the gangs in this case is they utilize tattoos as a language and as a command structure. And so the longer you're in the gang, the more complicated and sophisticated the language of the tattoo is. And all you need is a couple of gang members to translate, and you can this guy can walk in just like with a biker's colors and say, that guy's in charge, that guy's the second command, and you need to go pick him up while you're at it.
Yeah, it's basically you were just making the what we associate with the leather biker vest. You're just using your own skin to do that with, and it's the exact same function being performed.
Yakuza does a very similar type of thing, but I'm not nearly as conversant with the methodology there.
But at least they had the common decency to keep it covered. I mean, come on, right? Not that I'm some Japan expert here. But we got cops running around with full sleeve tattoos with their, sleeves rolled up, and then they have these anterior neck tattoos. I'm like, bro, what is up with that? And then it's spreading to the kids. I don't even have kids, and I feel like protect children, make tattoos illegal. It's out of control.
And I guess I'm even seen as pretty conservative.
I cannot stand a blue line flag tattoo on a cop. because that shows you that he no longer considers himself a citizen. He's a cop first. And cops are supposed to uphold the Constitution.
Well, yeah, and why you would want to get any sort of political activism tattoo is completely beyond me. Even one like that, because you have to categorize that as a political activism tattoo, don't you?
Well, yeah, and add to that a Punisher tattoo, and it's not a pretty combination.
That is absolutely not a pretty combination. That is not sending out very good vibes about what kind of person you are. If that's what you present to people in public, I'm sorry, it's just not.
See if you can get that clip of their sleeping conditions, man. It just looks like hell. The sleeping conditions of this 40,000 person prison. And then my other thought was, I wonder if, and I don't know the answer, right? I don't know the answer, but just for you guys, obviously we don't want to go to prison, right? Because these facts we know is self-evident, but I wonder if these El Salvador prisons are safer for the prisoners because they don't take any mess, or I wonder if they're just as hellish as they look. Like, are dudes getting beat up and stabbed and penetrated against their will in these prisons? Because the sleeping conditions are triple bunks, no mattress, multiple people. It really just looks like a straight up concentration camp, right? And I wonder what's going on in there.
Let's not mince words. This is exactly what this man has created, is a concentration camp for criminals. This is what prisons are built for. This is their intended purpose, is to keep dangerous people away from the general populace. That's their purpose.
And he wants everybody to know exactly what it looks like.
But do you think
that the method by which that particularly bad painter from Austria utilized looks an awful lot like prisoners, because that's the same concept. You are concentrating your bad people in the same place to make them easier to manage. But
Mrs. Schickelgruber's little boy resents your euphemism.
But do you think, but like, of note, these prisoners are very subjugated, they're very obedient. This is not something that we see in American prisons so much. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, and that's probably because American prisoners have a lot more rights than these guys do.
Yeah, but my question is, do you think that with all of this, do you think that the prisoners are actually do you think the prison is safer than an American prison? That's my question, because I don't know the answer.
There's no way. You have more higher population of greater threat profile prisoners, right? This was a country that 2 years ago was so corrupt that it had no border, not because they were championing open borders, but because the cartels were the ones that had the controls of the border. Homie rolls in, locks up everybody with a tattoo, and then goes through individually one by one and interviews them. If they determine they're not a gang member, they are released, but they're told to change their tattoos, right? You need to update something because you got something going on with the gang tattoos. Don't be doing that, right?
But as far as the safety, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying it sounds draconian as all get out, but it doesn't seem to actually play out draconian on this one, because these are murderers. These are people who made bombs to kill people. These are people who traffic people. These are slave drivers. These are literal sweatshop operators. These are drug cartel members and mafioso and whatnot. And they should be treated as such, in my opinion.
But if we're talking about the safety of prisoners inside the prison, I would tend to think that prisoners in American prisons are, generally speaking, safer than ones in Salvadoran prisons, simply because in a Salvadoran prison, it is probably much easier to buy off a guard or two or three if you really want to see a prisoner killed and you have the financial resources to make it happen.
But this new prison, there's no visitors, man. There's no contact. Like, they walk in their underwear. Like, I really feel like I want to believe there's no contraband. It would be nice to think that it's safer.
Oh yeah, I mean,
for the prisoners,
if he has pulled that off, and if all of the guys, all of the prison guards are totally on the level and with the program, then that is an amazingly, incredibly impressive achievement, and there's nothing to do but give the guy a standing ovation.
Only time will tell. But shout out to Nayib Bukele. He's an inspiration. You don't have to be Jordanian. You don't have to be El Salvadorian. You don't have to be Latino. This man just took, and I don't even like young, dashing, good-looking leaders. Right? I don't trust them. He's got his slick back hair. You know, he uses Bitcoin for the country. It's kind of weird, kind of kooky. Maybe I'm just jealous. I am, but I don't trust these people. But
nobody wants their country to be a crime-ridden shithole. And to the extent that he is enabling Salvadorans wherever they are throughout the world to have a little bit more pride in their country because it's no longer a crime-ridden shithole, and it now has an effective government and a guy who cares about ending this criminal nonsense, then good for them and good for him, I say.
Britain tried to export all of its crime once before, and it's not a very effective way to manage the crime of a country, because what you end up doing is creating future enemies for yourself. What this man is doing now, what he's going to do with these people, I don't know. It looks like a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And so I'm wondering what type of financial problems are going to rear its ugly head in the future. But
Joe Arpaio. We could use a few more Joe Arpaios today, I would say. What do you guys say?
Absolutely. I love it. No salt, no pepper. What was it? 17 cents a meal. That's awesome. Shout out to him.
He absolutely never violated anybody's human rights or constitutional rights, but he wanted to make being an incarcerated criminal just as embarrassing as he possibly could. And I think you can draw a line between that and what Nayib Bukele is doing in El Salvador with these videos that we've been watching right here. I think that is exactly the same objective being achieved by similar means.
But of note, let me just say a few of my thoughts in my head. Of course, I have no proof, but these are thoughts nonetheless. I wonder if now that there is a vacuum of power, do you think the police will become more corrupt and start some type of, I don't know, they'll be the new gang? Maybe.
Actually, we covered a little bit of that swing through El Salvador when we did that other show. What he did with the police is he walked in and basically took random people that had been, had negative reviews he couldn't verify. There were some that, you had citizens that were complaining about some of the cops, and then you have the cops that you go and you check out the reviews, you do the IE work, and you find out there's nobody that matches the description that complained. He doesn't exist. And he went and made them chief. He made them captains. These people that were apparently trying to do a good job at being a cop, but were having the problem of the gangs coming in and taking everything over. And they knew exactly who was suspect in the force. And he just took their word for it on the first handful of dozens of cops that he snatched off the street using basically I don't know what you would call them there, but they're kind of like National Guard / military police thing. He made like a private just stop it to go round these folks up. But it was public. It was very, very public. But they straight black bagged these cops off the street that they knew were dirty. And they're right there next to their criminal brethren in there. And yes, I feel bad. It is sad. I am sure somewhere in there is probably some dude from Southern California who got some tattoos because he thought it would be really cool and didn't realize that it attached him directly to a cartel. And he was just on vacation. That is unfortunate.
Wouldn't be the first time that happened.
And I am of the opinion that 1,000 guilty men should go free lest one innocent man suffer. Well, he did 6,000, so we could have at least 6 in there. So good luck. I hope it works out for him.
I hope it works out. Sometimes things feel too good to be true. That's what I'm wary of. But one other shout out to all my millions of fans in the Passport Bro community. It seems like, I don't know, man, maybe El Salvador is the place to go. I hear that the ladies are lacking 6,000 men to, or no, excuse me. That was 6,000 on one weekend. There's 40,000 less dudes on the streets to please these women. These women, hey, I mean, she won the Miss Universe or something recently, so that's a good example. They all know how to cook. You know, they got that third world kind of mentality, duty to serve. There's a lot of good to be heard there. Unlike in Mexico, where women are taking over, what am I hearing? This is blasphemy. What's going on over there?
All right. So we have a Mexican election upcoming, right? And sort of out of nowhere, for some strange reason, the Mexican populace itself has elected or nominated two women.
Put a chick in it, make it lame and gay. Sorry.
It's the Catherine Kennedy franchise. Yes. Literally, I cannot wait. How progressive do you reckon these chicks are?
There's nothing you can't make better by putting a chick in it.
And making her lame? Yeah. I actually have a bit of video to go with this, although it's all in Spanish, so I can't help you.
And goddamn it, we are going to do Harmony Unleashed Season 3 if it kills me.
Okay.
I mean, what a shame. What a shame. What a male-dominated society. I used to live with illegal Mexicans. Yes, es la verdad. Antes vivo con los mexicanos ilegales in Nueva York. Okay? And, bro, let me tell you a little story about how they treat their women with love and respect. And let me tell you another thing. I was sitting at the table eating like the familia eats, and this dude wanted another serving. The food was in the center of the table. He wanted food in the center of the table, so he didn't grab the food from the center of the table. He picked up his plate and handed it to his woman sitting next to him, and she served him the plate. I mean, that's what we got to get back to. I don't know what's going on in Mexico now. This is a shame. This is a shame. What a fall from the one thing that Mexico had going for it was this patriarchal society. I see nothing here but a bunch of pink pussy hats. What is this? Stop it. Stop it. Mexico.
I trust Lady Curmudgeon's watching and taking notes right now.
Yeah, a man shouldn't have to make his own plate for Jesus Christ. I mean, what is wrong with society?
Honey.
You keep talking. Every word you say is just another deposit in the pain bank.
Please. So, oh, great. Oh, someone's getting shot. I mean, what?
Yeah,
what is this?
Here's the thing. Here's the real quixotic part of all this. Mexico has, for the past, I don't know, 12.5 years, has been had their presidents more or less implanted largely by cartel approval more than anything.
Well, and AMLO is really the culmination of that phenomenon, because this guy very much is just an apparatchik of the cartels. A guy who came into office saying right out loud in public to the press, I don't want to put any drug lords in prison. That's who this guy is.
What? That's who one is. This woman? I'm confused.
We're talking about
AMLO, Andrés Manuel López Obrador,
this was
Presidente de Mexico.
individual that was set up by the cartel to be the shoe-in, no-lose candidate. He was the hand of the cartel in the government, so to speak. And instead of that working, for some reason, all of the Mexican populace came out in droves and nominated two women instead of the cartel nominee. And the cartel went absolutely apeshit. They started killing absolutely everyone associated with elections and campaigns, and their heads lined up on the street. It was
because drug lords tend to not like it when they don't get what they want. Imagine that.
Right. So the fix was in, and either the populace outvoted the crooked, or the crooked ones that were on the inside got overperformed by the legit votes.
Well, I think ultimately it is powerful evidence of a thing that I am often talking about, which is the fact that you can't steal a landslide. You can rig an election all you want, but it has to be close enough to steal. If it's a landslide, then good freaking luck. You cannot overpower that. Sometimes democracy can overpower any attempt at corruption.
So what we have south of the border right now is two populist women that have been nominated for both sides of the ticket, essentially. And I'm not 100% clear on how the Mexicalis do this kind of stuff. But
I don't think anybody is.
Yeah, I'm not sure they are. Like I said,
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I've lived right next to Mexico my whole life, and I couldn't tell you how their elections work.
Right. So I thought it was whoever got the most cheers, but apparently that's not the case.
I want to mention
all I
something
know is
off topic.
I always loved the delicious irony of a party named the Institutional Revolutionary Party.
I want to say something. I want to say something.
It's
here.
a bit of an internal contradiction, is all I'm saying.
Absolutely. I want to address this Toby Stewart, right? The cartels wouldn't exist if it weren't for our failed drug war, just like the mafia didn't exist for alcohol prohibition. I mean, I'm so sick of hearing this nonsense. It's just like, can people take their own agency? It's just like, stop blaming America. Stop blaming white people. I'm done with it. No,
well,
it's
I would agree. I would agree that it's a rather lazily reductive way of viewing history.
Right.
Yeah, just stop it. Stop it. No, it's Mexicans' fault that their country is shit, okay? And electing these female presidents, I got my eye on that. And hey, if it works, it works. Maybe men were wrong all along. Maybe that's what we need, is a strong woman to come in here and clean up the Who knows, man? I mean, can it get much worse? Will they build a wall on their side? And here's another thing I want to know about. America's suffering from all these freaking immigrants. I need to watch some news about Mexico. Like, I know Mexico doesn't like these trillions of freaking, even non-Mexicans crossing the border. They must be going through some kind of mess too. They need to build a wall on their southern border. Like, what is going on? I don't know. And to you, Toby Stewart, you're lame. Get out of here. I don't know what's up with you. Forget it.
I would submit also that if you can afford to travel from Pakistan to northern Mexico, you're not an economic migrant.
The CIA
is. Man, forget this. I mean, the CIA it's okay. I don't like the CIA, but do you think if the CIA didn't exist, Mexico would be some sprawling great economy, some great country like USA? I mean, stop it. You know it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Come on, stop it. It wouldn't. Stop blaming America. Stop blaming white men for everything. Just stop it. It's not true. Come on. Kidnap Mexico back in the 8 Ps, whatever that means.
Oh yeah, and if you know anything about Mexico's political history, that's just all the more true, because Mexico has, I'm sorry, a really very comical political history. Any way you slice it.
Obviously, they
tried to have a freaking Austrian emperor for 3 years. For Christ's sake, that's what Mexico is.
I'm not the expert on it. You know, I watch my Netflix documentaries. I know people get deleted. I know it's tough out there. I get it. But the most confusing thing of all is Cinco de Mayo is when they fought the French. That doesn't even make sense. They don't even speak French. I mean, what is going on over there? What's up with these ladies? Is it like...
Well, the French were the ones who installed Emperor Maximilian on the throne because they wanted it to be seen as not necessarily a French operation. So they just grabbed the second son of the current Habsburg king in Austria and set him up as Emperor of Mexico. And like I said, yeah, within less than 3 years, he has been stood up against a wall and shot, and his corpse sent back to Austria to be buried in the Imperial Crypt in Vienna.
Very interesting indeed. But so
has a
I don't know.
It's
how many major parties are there in Mexico? Two?
Half a dozen.
I mean, there's a bunch of parties, but there are two.
It used to just be the PRI. And then the PRI wielded inscrutable single-party power for about 75 years until 1999, which was when Vicente Fox got elected with the National Action Party, the PAN, and that was supposed to be the big emergence of Mexico into no longer being a single party, fake democracy, and things were going to change. But really, the only thing that changed was that the cartels went from indirectly wielding power to directly wielding power, which is where we are today.
Well, this is a
It
great
used to be that the cartels had to buy off the president and the governors. Now they are the president and the governors.
Right. They put in the past, what is it, two officials that were elected. They had both of the parties' nominees in their pocket. And this is the first time, as far as we know, in the past, 14 years or something, that
Right. And if you would like to get a better understanding of this, and you want to get it from a dramatic production that's really good and worth watching, first season of Narcos Mexico, go watch it.
seeing it.
the
Magnificent show.
Two nominees seem to have any attachment directly to cartels currently, and as far as we can tell, they didn't accept any cartel money, and they won through populism, not monetary spending. So
It's almost like the Mexican people are just like the Salvadoran people. They just want a nice place to live that isn't run by crooks and criminals.
right, it seems like a bit of a growing trend. It's kind of scary out there, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't
They
believe
call
this.
that populism, and they tell us it's bad and dangerous.
I don't believe this for 1 second. If you expect me to believe that all the men are corrupt, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, come two women, the Mexican Democrats and the Mexican Republicans, for lack of understanding, are the only two people who are going to get elected, and these people are pure and honest. It's like, come on. I don't know, man. This sounds like feminist propaganda. I don't know what's going on. When is the election, sir? When is the election?
I don't
I think
know,
it's-
but I could actually, I'm just throwing this out there. I could lead directly from that into my Charles Sumner topic.
Okay, hold on. But this is a great story. I'm so glad I'm watching Blast Radius live and in the studio mobily. But do we know when this is? Because I'm going to start covering this on my channel. I'm intrigued. Do you know?
It's next week or the week after. I don't remember exactly. I was going through all. It's in the ticker, isn't it? Presidential June 28th.
Oh, June 28th. Okay, well, hey, boom. I'm going to be covering that on my channel too. That's awesome. So thanks for bringing that to my purview.
And that's 5 days after the 50th birthday Blast Radius live stream special extravaganza, where you're all going to show up with itchy super chat fingers. I'm just saying.
We're doing that social programming thing that you hear about, social engineering.
Let's socially engineer. But what do you think this says about Mexico? Women are pure and
No.
innocent and good, and men are just evil and oppressive. I mean, what are we saying here? What does this say about Mexico? What are you trying to say?
Not what it says about Mexico. It's what it says about the cartel. The cartel went out and bought every candidate they could get their wormy little fingers on. And the two candidates that made it through the nomination process were the two candidates who were both dark horse candidates from the backfield. It would be like, I don't even have an analogy for America. I don't know who's the most reasonable Democrat and the most reasonable conservative Republican in the House.
But I would venture a guess here to say that, knowing a little bit as I do about, the sort of Mexican cultural patriarchal attitudes, there might be some element of this in saying, because normally when you put up an insurgent candidate who stands against the centers of power, specifically when those centers of power are aligned with the drug cartels, it's been easy enough in Mexico traditionally, in cases like with Luis Donaldo Colosio about 30 years ago, that you just kill the motherfucker and get him out of the way and you're done with it. But maybe in putting up a woman in that same position, you're saying, let's see if you're macho enough to kill a woman.
Well,
I know it sounds horrifying to even put it in those terms, but there might be some element of that at play, is all I'm saying.
what you're saying, but I think it's the other way around. What we have here, that machismo at play also plays for the women's men and their lives. And if they're traditional, proud Mexican women, then they probably do have a whole slew of 18 to 27-year-old sons out there armed for bear and ready to protect mama. That is a dangerous combination, because what wouldn't you do to protect your mama?
Yeah. And those attitudes are even all the much more stronger in Mexico than they are here.
All right, let me rephrase this for the people in the back, and correct me if I'm wrong, Captain. But I think what Captain said was, put this woman out in front because she has a cloak of female privilege, a type of female privilege, perhaps body armor,
because
where men don't want to shoot a woman as much.
Yes, because there might be a willingness to visit violence upon a male candidate that would cause second thoughts if the person in that position was a female.
It seems to work this far.
That's a good point. That's the point. Maybe that's what it is, because they protect their whammons. Maybe they love their whammons.
Yeah.
And they don't want to take them out, at least not in public. I mean, it's kind of a bad look shooting a woman.
I don't think it's something you can dismiss out of hand. I mean, I like to think I have one or two or three insights into Mexican thinking, since most of the people I know are Mexican, but you know.
They're not listen.
Maybe, man. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to have my eyes. Maybe I'll do an in-depth on these two candidates. I'm excited. But either way, it's a horrible day for Mexico. But I don't know. Maybe I need to just is it time for me to just give up? Is it time for me to say, all these women with these pink pussy hats were right? Men destroy, even though we built everything, we allegedly put a man on the moon, we built ships, we did this, we built roads, we created science, we created civilization. Should we just hand it over? Here you go, whammons. Just take over.
You're right.
And I think many of us often do not take sufficient stock of what an aggressively feminized society we are now living in.
True, but you're both off base. You're completely off base. Men built it for women. This is just them coming into their own.
Are they? But they're so ungrateful. What's the point? These women, they don't even respect it. They won't even make us plates anymore. I don't need no man. I mean, how much do you hear this nonsense?
Well,
it's out of control.
Women wield so much of the power in the world, always, since time immemorial, and feminism just doesn't want to acknowledge any of that.
I don't want to acknowledge that. I mean, what the hell are you saying? What I mean, it's disgusting. The downfall of every man is a freaking woman. I mean,
women control the world because they control access to sex.
Listen, this isn't a Beyonce concert, Captain. I thought this was a place where men could talk about ideas. All the single ladies to the left. All right. So what's up next?
Vagina, and talk about your ideas as well. I don't mind.
I don't know. The captain is. I don't know. We're gonna have to have a mutiny on this captain here. What's the next topic there, Captain?
He's got the Roger. What's his name? Say it again.
Roll the Congress video.
Oh yeah, the Congress video. I got you. Skadoosh. Check this out.
Yeah, perfect example of what it's like to have women leaders. This is perfect, Captain.
Exactly. Oh. This is the whole point I've been trying to get us to.
This is what Mexico is going to look like, only worse.
I don't know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order, Mr. Chairman.
That's beneath the order of your committee.
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Oh,
girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play,
baby girl.
I don't move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
So, you agree to strike your words?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she needs to apologize. No.
Perry, okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green.
I'm not apologizing.
Well, then
okay, reserve the right to object.
I am not apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
What kind of freaking madness is that? I'm not apologizing, then we're not striking your words. Didn't you want to strike her words? Why are you what is up? I don't get that.
I mean, I can go
welcome
in
to
on
your
this.
welcome to your aggressively feminized Congress.
Right?
Okay, so my turn, I guess. Again, here we go. MTG, she started off like a freak, right? She started off, she's like, "Look at me, I'm a CrossFit woman," and she's like flexing her muscles. And then she may or may not have said small hat space lasers. I don't know. And she was, if you're out here showing me your CrossFit routine, like, no, that's not the look. I mean, it worked for her. She got elected. Am I jealous? Yes, but that's not the look. She's nuts and she's crazy. And look at her now. She's showing her sleeves. It's like, have some decorum. When is it okay to wear a sleeveless freaking getup in Congress? Like, dress like Kamala Harris. Hold on. Dress like Hillary Clinton. You're sitting here. It's not guns out, guns out. But hold up. But recently, MTG, I have to admit, has come around. She's got nuts. She's got balls. She'll stand up. She's like, I don't want to give this money to that stupid small little country in the Middle East because people are suffering here. I don't want to give our money to Ukraine because people are suffering here. And she's got the balls. So it's a mixed bag of emotions I have with her. But the facts are the facts. I know it's easy to kick AOC. I know what she's done. I know she's horrible. I know what the deal is. But mommy, MTG started it. She did. And it's disgusting. This is civilization. This is Congress. This is where laws are made. And you should follow it. So MTG, hold that L. You're just making a mockery of the whole system. You shouldn't talk about how people look in Congress. You should not. You should not. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a bunch of freaking, I don't know what to say. A bunch of non-civilized people. I'll leave it at that.
Cap.
I yield my time.
Rebuttal.
Roll the rest of the video.
Yeah, yield.
It's me.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's a
Come on.
part of
I'm
the.
trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to
I had
strike
no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
You just voted to do
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get
Okay.
clarification.
look at calm down. Calm
No,
down.
no, because this
I
is
will
what
let
y'all
you get
do.
through proceedings.
I'm trying
Hey,
to
Ms.
get
Crockett,
clarification.
you're not recognized.
When she says y'all, who is she talking about? That's what I want to know. I know that she's horrible. I know this woman. I've seen her in the past. But mommy, daddy, MTG started it. She did. She did. She did.
I like her.
You like who? MTG?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but she's out of line. She's acting like a total, any kind of
Say-
bad word.
I did not say she was right. I said I like her.
I don't like that. It's unprofessional. It's just the devolution of America. It's as evidenced by this. It's gross. It's disgusting. Let's be
You're-
civilized.
Are you? Oh, civilized. You're offended by savagery, huh?
I'm offended by MTG. Yes, absolutely. It's disgusting.
I'm so proud of her at that point. That amazes me.
But it was fun to watch. I mean, I know I'm a human. I know it's fun. It's entertaining. I like it. And then what's the funniest part when the Crockett says some kind of, let's just, for lack of a better term, street type lingo to a square nerd. He's like, "Oh, I'm a dorky white guy. I don't even know what a butch belt." But I never heard it before. But it was the perfect description of MTG and her body. Bleach blonde, butch built. I mean, CrossFit. Probably take a few roids here and there back in the past. Who knows? She got a big face. What's up with that? Probably roids. I don't know. She's nuts. Curmudgeon, why are you so quiet?
10 minutes. You got 12 minutes at this point. You want to take a swing at it? Or are we gonna keep?
Can I have 12 minutes?
You got 12 minutes. Let's do this thing.
Well, we just saw what it looks like when you are living in an aggressively feminized society with an aggressively feminized government. You get three women making, catty, ridiculous high school level insults tossed back and forth, while the men in the room, who are supposed to be in charge and keeping the members in line and maintaining certain standards of decorum, just sit back with bemused grins on their faces like a bunch of handbag holders who are happy to just sit back politely while the ladies settle the matter. And so we are aggressively feminized today, but you can draw a straight line between aggressively masculinized, and which we used to have 150 years ago, and aggressively feminized that we have today. Because up until last week, well, I guess still probably the most notorious instance of Congress on Congress violence took place on the 22nd of May, 1856. And it was the near fatal beating of Senator Charles Sumner of Massachusetts by Representative Preston Brooks of South Carolina. Brooks went into the Senate chamber where he had no business and accosted Senator Sumner. Senator Sumner, he's a Republican. The Republican Party has only just begun to exist. He is one of the first crop of Republicans who have ever been elected to the Congress. And a lot of people don't like Republicans, the Whigs and the Democrats alike. A lot of people wish that the damn radical abolitionists would just shut the hell up and go away. But the thing that Sumner did that Brooks considered such a dastardly, monstrous act of calumny was Sumner had given a speech a couple days earlier on the 20th of May, which had to do with the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which of course dealt with the admission of free states and slave states and what have you. And Sumner made what Brooks regarded as a personal attack against Senator Andrew Butler, who was the brother-in-law of Mr. Brooks. And here is what Sumner said that was considered so beyond the pale of gentlemanly discourse that it warrants a man being beaten to death. Quote, "The senator from South Carolina has read many books of chivalry and believes himself a chivalrous knight with sentiments of honor and courage. Of course, he has chosen a mistress to whom he has made his vows, and who, though ugly to others, is always lovely to him. Though polluted in the sight of the world, is chaste in his sight. I mean the harlot, slavery. For her, his tongue is always profuse in words. Let her be impeached in character, or any proposition made to shut her out from the extension of her wantonness, and no extravagance of manner or hardihood of assertion is then too great for this senator. The frenzy of Don Quixote in behalf of his wench, Dulcinea del Toboso, is all surpassed." End quote. And that was regarded as so absolutely terrible that Brooks went in and tried to beat Sumner to death. He walked in and accosted the man. He was sitting there writing a letter at his desk, minding his own business. And Brooks says, "Senator Sumner, you have made a speech which I think has given great offense to a relative of mine. I am here to gain satisfaction." And he immediately just started beating the living shit out of him with a walking stick, which had a brass tip on it, and just rained down about 20 or 30 blows upon a defenseless man. Some people tried to come to his aid, but they were held back by the little posse that Mr. Brooks had brought with him. And it really is remarkable that Sumner lived through the thing, because he really ought not to have. He was out of action, unable to return to the Senate for nearly 3 years, and this was seen as such an affront to the people of Massachusetts that they actually left his seat in the Senate empty for that entire time, depriving themselves of a vote because they wanted that empty chair to stand as a symbol of the savagery that had been inflicted upon the elected representative of their people. And what did the Democrats do? The gold tip of Mr. Brooks's walking stick, he had it made into a bunch of rings that they walked around with on their necklaces, which was fun, a murder weapon. He was charged with assault and fined $370. That was the extent of the criminal penalty for a near fatal beating. And but this was the point at which a lot of people in the country thought, wow, this slavery thing might really get out of hand if people are nearly willing to beat each other to death inside the Senate chamber over it. But I think in the public imagination, it became viewed as more of a comic incident than the savage, bloody, vicious attempted murder that it actually was. Because for me, I remember reading about it in my school history books, and you would just see little sort of cute cartoons about a man beating another man with a stick, but you don't really get the full extent of what an awful act it was until you actually read the blow by blow. And so we've gone from that aggressively masculinized Congress culture to the complete opposite of that today, totally aggressively feminized. And couldn't we just be somewhere in the middle? Is that asking so much? I don't think it's asking so much. Do you guys think it's asking so much?
I like it.
I don't think it's asking too much. No.
All right. So you feel fulfilled now? Do you feel like you got your shot?
Better than I did yesterday. Getting it damn right. Yep.
Excellent. Magnificent. All right. So
I have been trying to talk about that damn story for like 2 weeks. The universe did not want me to talk about the caning of Charles Sumner.
I know.
I was finally going to do it for Thursday's video, and then right when I sit down to start writing the script, the fucking Trump verdict drops. God damn it.
All right. So let's do us a little round robin talk out. We got about 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes left. That'll give us each a couple of minutes to kind of poke things and jiggle the handle and whatnot. We'll start with Midlife Bro Logic. Everybody good with that? Excellent. Magnificent.
Yo, thank you to all my millions of fans. Thank you for showing up for Sunday's hottest ticket. It's Blast Radius, right? We're in the blast zone. We are in the radius. So there's no running. There's no hiding. I am the Baltimore baller, apparently. I love it, right? There's no running. There's no hiding. There's no bomb shelters. The radius is going to get you. It's going to get you one way or another. This is Sunday's hottest ticket. There's no Sunday football. HBO has been dead for years. Come on. Come here. Come one. Come all. Send your friends. Send your mom. Send your dad. Send your kids. It's family friendly. Sit around the computer like they used to sit around the radio and listen, and just sit back and listen. Listen to us. We got it all. This is the trifecta of greatness. We're the three musketeers, not the three stooges. Come on. You know what's up. You know what's up. And to all my millions of fans, you have to sub to Caucasian Sasquatch. There's probably a link somewhere. Sub to the Sasquatch. He exists. He's not a Yeti. We're talking about all these Mexican things. He's not the Mexican Yeti. He is a Sasquatch, and he is known throughout North America. And don't forget about the good captain. You must obey his orders at all times. This isn't Mutiny on the Bounty, okay? And for all you other people who don't know me, well, come get to know me. Come get to know me at Midlife Bro Logic. I'm everywhere, baby. Let's start from, I'm everywhere. I'm True Social, Rumble, Twitter X, come on, YouTube and Rumble. You got no excuse not to get up with Midlife Bro Logic. Come on, man. I need those subs. I want to get up there. I want to live the YouTube lifestyle. I want to be the world's biggest YouTuber. I want to be unshackled and unfettered from all these other constraints of 9 to 5 and punching clocks. It's lame. So help me. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And sub, baby. That's what's up. Thank you. I'm out.
Caucasian Sasquatch here. I am apparently, as I've come to learn, the hominid with the buttons. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I've got a show on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I got a show on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I got a show coming up this Thursday night. I am doing rabbit holes for YouTube slave class. I'm going to be sending out invitations here, I think, Tuesday. So I'm going to invite a whole slew of folks, and we'll see if we can actually get to the bottom of this thing, right? Magnificent. I like the way this works. Cap.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining us here on the Blast Radius tonight. We sure do appreciate it when you find the time to make us a small, little, trifling, insignificant part of your Sunday evening. Just as a brief calendar look ahead, I don't know what the hell we're doing next week, but it'll be awesome. Week after that, Tony Gwynapalooza, all Tony Gwynn, all the time. We're not just appreciating Tony Gwynn, but we are also helping the host process his grief because, yeah, it's been 10 years and I still haven't processed it yet. So let's work through it together. Week after that, 50th birthday blast radius. You only turn 50 once. I expect all of you to be here. Bring a friend. Both of you should have itchy super chat fingers. That is all I have got. Get the hell out of here. Have a pleasant day and a great tomorrow. Do not comply. Get off my lawn.